The New Orleans Saints were taking the NFL by storm. The first 2 weeks, they were hanging 40 burgers on the Panthers and the Cowboys. And all of a sudden, these last 2 weeks, they've come crashing right back down to earth. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles last week in a close game. That's understandable, but you lose today to a team that you really should have been able to beat. Okay, and although the New Orleans Saints, going up against a Falcons team right now that they're playing with a lot of confidence because, they were able to hang with the Chiefs. They got a big win Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, you should have won this game. But Derek Carr, he isn't playing at the high level that he was the first 2 weeks of this year. He has cooled off tremendously. We're not seeing him connect on a lot of those deep shots that he's taken downfield. He threw a pick six. And his lack of mobility is really hurting New Orleans offensively because there are certain situations where they need him to run, extend the play, or pick up some yards with his legs, and he just can't do it. And Dennis Allen's decision-making is a large reason why I was never that high on the Saints coming into this year to begin with. He should have took the 3 points on that 4th and 7 late in this game, which would have made this a 20-23 game. But instead, he decides to go for it, get stopped, and then the defense forces the Falcons to punt on the following possession, and then they score a touchdown. Now, imagine if you just would have took that 3 points. That's a 10-point difference. You probably win this game. And instead, you gamble, you roll the dice, and it doesn't work. I don't care if a coach goes for it on 4th down, depending on where it's at. Anything 4th and 3 and shorter, we got to go for it. But if it's 4th and medium, 4th and long, 4th and 7, you got to take the points. And with you being a defensive-minded coach, your defense played pretty well throughout this game, that you should trust your defense to get you the ball back and allow you to win the game. That's why I don't understand the clock management and decision-making from Dennis Allen sometimes, because he's too conservative in certain spots, and he's too aggressive in certain spots. He doesn't have a good feel for the game. And you always hear a lot of former coaches talk about this when they break down what goes into the thought process to making the decision to go for it on 4th down and just skip out on taking the 3 points. You got to have a good feel for where the game is at. If your team isn't operating that effectively on offense, you probably should just take the 3, especially if it's 4th and 7. And if you're a defensive-minded coach, you should have enough faith that your defense can get you the football back and it can give you one last chance to win the game with your offense. And Dennis Allen is the sole reason why I never really had too much stock in the Saints to begin with. And the Saints don't look like they are a team that has the ability to win close games. The only way they can win is if they just flat out blow you out by 2-3 possessions. But if it's a game that ends up being decided by 3 points late in the 4th quarter, it's a guarantee that Dennis Allen is going to find a way to lose it. And for as good as what this team looked the first 2 games, these last 2 weeks have been major reality checks for the New Orleans Saints this year. This is not going to be a playoff team. I still stand by that. They have a talented enough roster to make it to the playoffs. But coaching is the reason why this team is going to underachieve once again. Saints fans already know that Dennis Allen ain't that great. You knew that coming in, but you at least would think that you could be an 8-9 win team. Judging by how these past 2 weeks have gone, your season is trending downwards, and by the time we get to week 9, week 8, the Saints could probably be like 3-5, 3-6. And there's a chance that Dennis Allen may not even last through the season. He's not a good coach. And the defense played well, but just in that situation, you expect the defensive-minded coach to have more faith on that side of the football. You should have just took the 3 instead of going for it on 4th and 7. That made no sense to me.